My name is Tom Kreinen, and for this presentation, we will be going over the keylogger that we will attempt to create. And a keylogger is a system that you can download onto or a file that you can download onto a computer or an Android device, and it will track all of the keystrokes made by the user and then send them back to whoever installed the keylogger on that device into a text file. So for this keylogger that I have created, it is created in using the Python language. So the first thing that you will need to do is download the latest Python version right here. After you have downloaded the latest Python version, you will also have to download the Visual Studio Code that will enable you to edit the code and also write the keylogger script. And after you have downloaded that, you'll have to download the PyInput file right here and download that onto your computer as well. Once you've downloaded all three of those, you'll come here, and so the PyInput will download as a zipped file. So you'll first have to extract the file, and then what you will get is you'll get this folder right here with the PyInput master folder. And you'll open this file into Visual Studio Code, and it will then create this screen right here. And so on this screen you can see the file that is basically the background of the keylogger.
Using the terminal window,
you'll go into the PyInput master, so you'll go cd and then enter PyInput master, and you'll hit enter. So now you are in the PyInput master terminal, and you'll then enter Python setup.py, and it'll now install the Python file.
the Python file is
installed, and so you'll now enter Python to gain access to the Python interpreter, which is shown by these three arrows right here. And you'll then type import PyInput, and then nothing is returned, which means everything was installed correctly. So you'll press Ctrl Z, enter to get out of that. And so now what you will do is you'll create a new file, and we'll name this one logger.pyw. Created a new file called logger.pyw, and so you'll type in this code right here, and this will be the actual keylogger that you will be able to install on other devices. And to make sure that it works, we're just going to type hello world right here, and then it'll create a keylog text right here, where as you can see it just typed in hello world. So now we know that it works. So we're just going to get rid of that, and then we can save this keylogger. Now we have created this folder right here called logger, and so it has a keylog file in it called logger. And this is going to be a Python file, and so once you click on it, you'll see it loading, but it won't actually open up anything. And now if we come in here to the search bar and type in settings, for example, and then we go back and we look at our keylog file, there you see it just typed in settings, since that's what I typed in while using that keylogger. So now we know that it is currently working. As long as someone clicks on this file right here, it will automatically install it onto their computer and start sending all of their keystrokes to this file called keylog. So as long as you are the person sending this keylog file, it will create a keylog script in a text document onto the desktop of the person who is sending the keylogger. Step in actually being able to use this logger is to change it from being a Python file, because no one is going to open a link that is a Python file because it doesn't look legitimate. So the first thing you'll do is you'll hold down Shift, press the right key, and you'll open the PowerShell window. And it'll be the PowerShell window of this logger file, and you will install the PyInstaller. So you'll go pip install PyInstaller. So once that is installed, what you will do is you will use PyInstaller to be able to exchange this Python file to a executable file. You'll type in PyInstaller and then the name of the file, logger.pyw. And you let that run. So as you can see, we have now downloaded the file, and when we go back to our folder, it has created 3 new folders. If we go inside this dist folder, and then inside logger, you'll see that it has created a new file named logger, but is an application file this time and not a Python file. What I want to do is to change the icon picture of this logger file, because obviously if we want someone to think that it is a legitimate file, it needs to have an icon that looks like a legitimate file. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come right here and we're going to find a normal logo such as the Microsoft Word icon, and we're actually going to download the ICO. So you'll click on ICO, you'll click on Save As, and we will save it in that logger file. We'll name it Word Icon, and make sure you save it as an icon type. Click Save, and then you're going to come back to that folder and see it saved it right in here. So next thing you'll do is you'll open back up that PowerShell from the logger file, and you're going to type in PyInstaller, and then you're going to use the -I to changing the icon. And so you're going to need the path to find towards that icon. So you're going to come up here, type in wordicon.ico, and then copy that and paste it after the I, and then you're going to put in the file name again, so logger.pyw. Hit enter. It'll ask you to make sure if you want to change the file. Click yes. After you have completed the download of that Word icon, you can see it created a new application right here. It is an application file, and it does have that Word logo. And so now if you click that, as you can see, it looks like it is opening something, and you'll be waiting, but it won't actually open anything. And now if I come up here and I type in hello, goodbye, for example, and I come back and look at my keylog, the last words were written as hello, goodbye. So as you can see, it is working. And so if you ever, for the purpose of practicing, do open a keylogger on your own computer, obviously you're going to want to be able to stop it. So if you come down to the taskbar and click on Task Manager, since our file is called logger, you can see right here, we've got this file logger. Just come in here, end the task, come back, type in hello, look at the keylog, and now it's not recording anything anymore. Now we have created a application file that is called logger and has the Word icon. So all you can do now is you can just right click on there and rename the file anything that you want. So for example, Word document. So now if you send that to someone, it'll show up as Word document with a Word document icon. Very believable, as long as they don't check the actual extension of that file. And so the next thing that we wanted to attempt to do is to actually be able to email that to someone. And so what we did is we created a test email for the purpose of this. Right here, the test email is testemail4317@gmail.com. And so since you cannot send an executable file via any just normal attachment, you will have to add it as a Google Drive. So for example, if we come in here, insert files, upload, so we'll upload a file from our device. So we'll come back to that logger, and we wanted to add this Word document application right here. So we'll open that and upload it. So if we just name the subject, Word document, for example, and then we send this email. So we'll give them view ship. So we have sent that email, so now we'll come to our test email account. Test email right here. We did receive an email, so if we click on that, it does say Word document, executable file, and so the only problem with modern security measurements is that it already has a virus found on that document. So in order to actually be able to send this to someone, you might have to convince them just to still open it. But if you do click on the executable of the file, it will attempt to open it in the Google Drive. And so if you click download, it will unfortunately not let you open it because it is infected with a virus. So this keylogger does work. You are able to send it to people, but unfortunately with all of the modern security practices and all of the modern security requirements, it does automatically detect that it is infected with a virus. So unless you can somehow manage to put it on a USB and install it onto someone's physical computer, you're not going to be able to get this keylogger easily onto someone else's device.
For the fingerprint part of this project, here you can see an Android device that is using the normal fingerprint scanner. So when we go to the fingerprint app, we can register a fingerprint. So here we register one of our fingers as a fingerprint. And when we retry to unlock our phone with a fingerprint, but try a different finger than the one that we had registered, it clearly shows that we are not able to unlock the phone because that is not the fingerprint that we registered. And when we look at the settings, we can see that in the security section, under fingerprints, there is only one fingerprint that is registered. Now when we retry that, after altering the code to allow us to register one fingerprint but unlock it with multiple fingers, you can see that as we did previously, we register one finger, and now you can see in the settings section that we have only one fingerprint registered. And then when we try to unlock the phone with a different fingerprint than the one we have registered, it still allows us in the phone. The keyloggers are very relevant in current technology, and just a few cases to show you how relevant they are. Just recently, there was, this was March 18th, they had the Agent Tesla keylogger campaign where emails were being sent out from the World Health Organization, or what was believed to be the World Health Organization, which obviously with the current situations is very believable that those would send out emails. But as you can see here, they sent them out as sarah@who.com, which the World Health Organization uses .int, so that's the first mistake that they made. But when people clicked on these links, it actually installed a keylogger onto their computer, and criminals were able to get anything from Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, Facebook, all of their login information. They would also be able to get any email information, as well as any, obviously, banking information as well. case that we can see here is a student at the Birmingham University in the UK actually installed a keylogger onto the computer of his professors and changed his test scores on 5 of his tests in order to pass those exams and then end up getting a degree. And so he was actually sentenced to 4 months in jail because of this use of a keylogger. So he obviously used this for the wrong reasons, and we can see that keyloggers are being used a lot these days. So there's always you always have to be careful with clicking on links and make sure that the links are taking you to the correct file that you are wanting to open. And so just make sure you stay safe. There are a lot of cyber crimes going on, especially nowadays that everyone is working at home. They might not have very advanced cybersecurity setups in their own houses. So just make sure you always stay safe.